Hi everyone, it's Melissa, and April is the picture book readathon. So I thought today I would share some picture books that I enjoy, that my daughter enjoy, that fit the prompts for this year's Picture This readathon. There are 6 word prompts this year for Picture This, and I've chosen a couple of books for every prompt. So the first word is joy. The first book is Jillian Jiggs by Phoebe Gilman. This is an absolute favorite of ours. It has a really nice little rhyming scheme. It's about a girl whose mother keeps pestering her to clean up her very messy room, but she keeps finding excuses to make more mess by dressing up with her friends, and they make all sorts of crafts and costumes, and it's just kind of a really fun, silly, colorful book. And the rhyming scheme's really nice and it flows really well. It's a really fun read aloud book. So Jillian Jiggs for joy. The next book I have for joy is also about dressing up. It's called Dress Like a Girl, written by Patricia, Toht, and illustrated by Lorian. In this book, a bunch of girls are having a sleepover and they decide to dress like girls, which means anything you want it to mean. So dress like a musician, like you are going on safari, that you're an explorer, dress like an athlete. So it's all about the joy of dress up and pretend. The next word is night, and for some reason I have the most books under this category, so I guess I just really like books about night. I think there is something for picture books that especially are geared towards children, that we all usually have a fear of night and a fear of the dark, so maybe this makes it a little easier. I don't know. But anyway, there are a lot of books about night. The first one I wanted to share is If You Were Night by Muon, and Kelly Pousette. And what I really like about this one is the art style. The illustrations are done with like paper craft. So for example, here you can see that that picture is clearly a paper cutout of a door with the picture behind it. Here's another picture where you can see that all of the trees and the rocks and critters are all cut out from paper, almost like a diorama type of style. And this book is just asking this child what you would do if you were night. If you were night and you saw an owl swooping down, would you hide behind a shadow, or would you go out with the owl and hunt as well? And there are lots of really cool pictures of all the different critters and things you can see at night. So here's another one of a coyote howling. So just really cool illustration style for that book. The next book under night I have is called Blackout by Rocco. And this book is set in New York. There's a blackout, and all of the members of this family who had been busy in their own rooms doing their own thing come together to play a board game and spend time together, because they can't be on their phones, they can't watch TV, they can't cook supper, they can't do anything besides be together. They go up on the rooftop and are actually able to see the stars. And then everyone else in the city is all on their rooftop, so everyone's kind of having a block party up on their roofs. Then they all go outside and everyone's kind of hanging around. And when the power comes back on, the family decides that they are going to turn the lights off and put the candles back on and have a little family time playing a board game together. So just a really cute story that puts a positive spin on a power outage, which can be otherwise quite scary for kids. So I like this one. This is also a favorite of my daughter. The next book is called The Way Home in the Night by Akiko Miyakoshi. You can really see the canvas through the paint or whatever medium was used here. But this book is about a child with their parent, and they are walking home at night. Their parent is carrying them, and it's all about all the different things they see through the windows of all the different houses. Someone's on the phone, someone's having a party, someone's saying goodbye, and it just really is a quite nostalgic feeling of being carried home by a parent in the dark and feeling safe while out at night in your parents' arms and kind of peeking in to what the neighborhood's doing. The last book I have that is under the night prompt is Sulwe by Lupita and Nyong'o. I absolutely adore this book. I've talked about it on my channel before. My daughter also loves this book. It's about a little girl called Sulwe who has very dark skin, and she's teased because of it. and wishes that her skin was lighter like her sister's skin. And she does these things to try to lighten her skin. She tries to use an eraser. She tries to use makeup. She tries to eat very light colored foods to change the color of her skin. And then a star comes to visit her and tells her the story about these two sisters, day and night. And night is very dark and day is very light. And it's all about how people were afraid of night and drive her away. And then the people realize that they need night, that they need darkness to sleep, that they need the night to cool from the heat of the day, that they miss the beauty of night and the bioluminescence and the moon and the stars and all the things that make night beautiful. So it's all about embracing the beauty in darkness, and it's just absolutely beautiful. The illustrations are wonderful, the story is great, and yeah, this is a favorite in our house. So that's the night prompt. The next word is peach, and this one I had a hard time finding. I guess we don't have any books that have peach, and I couldn't find any of the library that had a peach color on them that we liked and that I wanted to share. But I do have two that I think kind of count. This I think is peach, maybe it's more pinkish, but this is Pigs by Robert Munsch, illustrated by Michael Martchenko. This is about a girl who is supposed to go feed the pigs, and her father warns her not to leave the gate open because pigs are smarter than they look. And of course she says, these pigs are dumb and I'm opening the gate because they don't know anything. And of course they all escape, and hilarity ensues as they invade her house, they invade her school, they invade the bus, and that pigs are smarter than they look. So it's just really, really fun book that my daughter also really enjoys. The next peach book that we have is called The Old Woman and the Eagle. It's a folk tale. I believe it is from Afghanistan. And it's about this old woman who has never seen an eagle. She has only ever seen pigeons. She's very familiar with pigeons. And an eagle comes to her house and she says, "Oh my, you're a funny looking pigeon," and proceeds to do all of these things to make this pigeon, aka the eagle, look more beautiful and look like a pigeon should look. So she clips its talons and straightens its beak and brushes down the tufty, kind of rough looking feathers on its head and says, "There, now you're beautiful." And of course the eagle is distraught, but then it gets help from another eagle to undo the harm that the woman has done, make the beak hooked again, and fluff up the feathers again, and that its talons will grow back. We really like this book, talking about being true to oneself, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, all that kind of stuff, and it's just a really fun book. The next word is nature, and I really had to limit myself here because there are so many wonderful books about nature. One of them whose illustrations are really bright and colorful and that we really enjoy is Finding Wild by Megan Wagner Lloyd, illustrated by Abigail Halpin. And it's about all the different types of wild places, talking about the smells in wild places, talking about fire and ice and flowers and mountains. And then it talks about kind of finding those wild places when you're in like urban areas. And then at the end of the book, the two kids finding like a little kind of secret garden-esque little courtyard in the city where there is some wilderness. So that's Wild. Love the pictures in this one. Something that's a little bit similar in terms of the urban aspect is Florette by Anna Walker. My daughter also loves this one, and I love the illustrations in this one. It's about a country girl who loves being outside, moving to the city, and kind of bemoaning the fact that there's no trees, there's no birds, there's none of those wild things that she loves. They have this courtyard that is just empty, but then she finds this, I guess it's like a nursery or something, with all of these plants inside, and it's closed and she can't go in, but she finds a little sprout outside of the building, and she takes the sprout and she plants it, and then she plants more things, and kind of brings the wilderness to their little courtyard. And she and the other kids can now play in some greenery. So this is a really nice one, just about, I think, like creating community and green spaces and gardening. The next word is blue, and the first book I have is This Beautiful Day. Another kind of naturey book about exploring outdoors. The book starts with some kids trapped inside because it's raining, and they're playing inside while it's raining outside, but then decide that this is a beautiful day to be outside as well, so they take out their umbrellas. You can see the blue here, splashing around in the puddles, lots and lots of blue, but as they're outside playing, more and more colors start coming into the illustrations, where you start getting some greens, and there are different colored umbrellas, and it clears up and they have a wonderful day outside. So this is another beautifully illustrated book. The next book I have under the blue prompt is called Red, A Crown Story by Michael Hall, but it features the color blue quite prominently, as there is this young crown who is red, aka the label is red and it says red, but it's a blue crown. This crown is having a hard time. He's struggling because he's not very good at being red. He tries to draw a red fire truck, but it doesn't look right. He tries to team up with the color yellow to make a big orange, but turns out green. And then all the art supplies have all these suggestions about how he can be better at drawing red. And they're saying stuff about just applying himself more and all those types of things. And it takes a new friend who comes up and says, hey, can you draw an ocean for my boat? And the red crown says, no, I'm red, but tries it out and finds out that he's blue all along. And then once he kind of knows his true self, can draw all the wonderful blue pictures that he was made to draw. And my daughter absolutely loves this book. We have a lot of great conversations about being true to oneself, and that people are good at different things, looking inside to who you are. And this could also be very much an allegory for like the trans experience. There are all sorts of ways that you can take this, but it's a really good discussion starter with younger readers as well. So the last prompt is change, and the next book I have is Pecan Pie Baby by Jacqueline Woodson, illustrated by Sophie Blackall. My daughter loves this book. We borrowed it from the library. She's been reading it every night. I'm going to have to find a copy. And it's about a mom and daughter, and the mother is about to have another baby, and this daughter is not excited about that. This pecan pie baby, the mother's having cravings for pecan pie, and it's all about struggling with thinking that she'll have to share her mom with someone else, struggling with the fact that, you know, her aunts and other grown-ups and relatives are coming over and kind of ignoring her and not playing with her like they used to, and just wanting to talk with her mother about the baby. And everyone's excited about the baby. Everyone's there to help building a crib. At school they're talking about babies and new siblings, and everyone looks at her and she's kind of embarrassed. And I just love this book because a lot of the books you see about welcoming a new sibling are all about the excitement of it and trying to get children to realize the excitement of it, but sometimes kids just aren't excited, and this doesn't end with a revelation that she's now excited for the baby, which I think is really important, and I really appreciate really leaning into the fact that she's not excited and that she is going to miss when it was just her and her mom doing things together, and her mom have a nice little like heart-to-heart about it, and her mom admits that, you know what, I'm gonna miss that too, and they're able to just enjoy that moment together and admit that things are going to change and that they are going to miss the way things were, but that there is a baby coming, and we'll have a different life. It'll look a bit different. And I just really, really love this book. The last book I have about change is The Dam by David Ellman, illustrated by Levi Pinfold. And this is based on a true story of this dam in England that was put up in 1981, all of the people had to be rehoused, and this father and daughter really did go to all of these houses and played music, and it was like the last time music was ever played in these places. And the book kind of illustrates that as them almost like releasing spirits or memories of the people who lived in this valley that are moving. So they go into the valley, and the dam is basically going to be finished soon and flood the valley. So they talk about all the music that had been played in this valley, and they go into these houses that have now been cleared out, and the father sings and the girl plays her fiddle. And then you see all of these like memories or spirits in the houses, and they go to all of the houses and play music. And then of course now the valley is underwater, but the memories are still there, and the spirits of the people are still there. So it's a great book about how sometimes things change, but we can still keep memory and tradition alive. Those are all of the picture books that I wanted to talk about today. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll chat soon. Take care. Bye.